The term debugging is ambitious for what you're about to learn, and this should probably be called old-school debugging. Proper debugging tools exist for C++ and will let you go much further. But these are beyond the scope, and an overkill for most users of Rcpp anyway. What we call debugging here is merely printing messages to the console at specific times. For example, at each iteration of a loop, to see what happens and maybe compare that to what you thought would be happening. When you develop your code, you might want to print a message in the console. The Rprintf function gives you a nice way to print a formatted string directly to the R console. Note that C++ strings can only use double quotes. Single quotes in C++ are reserved for single characters. Rprintf takes a literal string as its first argument, which might contain some placeholders, starting with a %sign. For example, %d means a placeholder for an integer. %s is a placeholder for a string. The placeholders are replaced by additional parameters to Rprintf. In this example, the string contains an integer placeholder that is replaced by the value of x. Rprintf uses the same syntax for the placeholders as the base R function sprintf. C++ has a complex exception mechanism for error handling that we can mostly just ignore. Just like in regular RCode, you can use the stop function in your C++ code to raise an exception with an error message. From the point of view of the user, that C++ exception is exactly the same as if it had been generated by RCode. Therefore, you can use try-catch as you would normally do in R. Go catch some errors.